Hi. So slowly we have come to the end of the group now, almost in the P block. So we are starting with the 17th group, which is halogen family. The elements are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine majorly. Now the fluorine F2Cl2, they both are gases, yellow and green yellow in color, greenish yellow in color. Bromine is a liquid, red color liquid, and iodine is a violet color solid. That's a very simple thing here. Now, top to bottom, talking about the atomic property. So there is no exception in any of the atomic properties here. Radius as normal, top to bottom increases. Ionization enthalpy always decreases top to bottom. That's the general trend. Electronegativity also decreases as usual. Hydration enthalpy, very well we know for the X minus ion. As we go from top to bottom, the size of the ion increases, and larger ion means lesser hydration enthalpy. So hydration enthalpy decreases. Sorry, here it is decreases. So F minus will have the highest hydration enthalpy, I minus will have the lowest. Talking about their molecular properties here, molecular means F2Cl2, Br2, Y2. These properties were of fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine atoms. It does not matter much. Carrying on, melting point, boiling point, top to bottom increases. Why? We very well know in the previous videos also, as the size increases, van der Waals force of attraction increases, hence boiling point, melting point will also increase. So top to bottom size increase, melting point, boiling point increases. Mass is also increasing, and the increase in mass is more dominant. As we can see in the P block, in most of the cases the density increases. So here also density increases, no exception. Top to bottom size become longer, so the bond length also becomes longer as usual. But the only exception that you have to learn here is the bond enthalpy. Bond enthalpy, top to bottom, the expected order was as the size is increasing, top to bottom the bond enthalpy must be decreasing. So yes, if you ignore fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, there is a subsequent decrease in the bond enthalpies. There is no problem in chlorine, bromine and iodine. Problem comes in fluorine. Why? Because fluorine is excessively small here. It is so small that when two fluorine atoms come together, and it's very small, so these electrons also come together very close to each other, and there is a huge repulsion. Huge repulsion is there. Due to that huge repulsion, it becomes easy for the fluorine to break the bond. So bhaiya, as per the size, the bond is very short, very small, so it should be tough to break, but because of the repulsion that is happening, because of that small size only, what happens? Due to repulsion, the bond enthalpy of fluorine becomes exceptionally low, just above iodine. So why the iodine bond enthalpy is lowest? Because of the largest size. Why the fluorine bond enthalpy is second lowest? Because of the repulsions of the lone pair of the electrons in it. Carrying on, electron affinity, I think I have discussed already in the previous group. In nitrogen family, in the oxygen family, I discussed of all three. So I'm not going to touch that again. You can see that video and you will get acquainted to that. Problem is, when we talk about oxidizing agent nature, understand, if I am oxidizing agent, I will get reduced. Reduction means, for example, fluorine want to be oxidizing agent, so he has to become F minus, aqueous. Cl2 has to become Cl minus, aqueous. Now, electron affinity of actually chlorine is more than fluorine. That's the main thing here. That's the exceptional case here. Chlorine is more than fluorine. I have discussed that earlier in the oxygen family also. So if the electron affinity of chlorine is more than fluorine, question arises, in the oxidizing agent nature, fluorine is the best oxidizing agent. In fact, in the whole electrochemical series, in the electrochemistry chapter also you will learn fluorine is the best oxidizing agent. The question arises ki why, even though chlorine has more electron affinity, more love for electron. More love for electron means easily converted to X minus. Then why fluorine is the best oxidizing agent? Question is clear, I think. Oxidizing agent means getting reduced. Getting reduced means taking electron. And we know that love for the electron of chlorine is more than fluorine. Then why fluorine is the best oxidizing agent and not chlorine? Answer is very simple. Dekho yaar, if X2 has to become X minus aqueous, it does not happen simply like this. Firstly, X2 has to break to X. That means atomic species, and the energy required is bond enthalpy. The atomic species, atomic gaseous species has to become X minus, that is electron gain enthalpy, or we can say electron affinity, we can say here in very simple words. X minus becomes X minus aqueous. X minus becomes X minus aqueous, that is hydration enthalpy. Now, don't go into the skeptical views that electron affinity, electron gain enthalpies are different. Yeah, there is a difference in the sign also. Some 5/2 RT difference is also there, but all those things I am assuming that you already know, that's why you are having these kind of doubts. And if you are not having any such doubt, so you are very well acquainted with this part then. So let us carry on. तो भैया X gas to X minus gas, chlorine wins over fluorine. But the hydration enthalpy we know is decreasing top to bottom, and F minus has the highest hydration enthalpy. So in the hydration enthalpy, fluorine is more than chlorine. So here who wins? Fluorine. So in one game, chlorine wins. Electron affinity of chlorine is higher. Electron taking tendency of gaseous chlorine atom. Electron get enthalpy is the enthalpy change when an electron is added to the outermost shell of an isolated gaseous atom. So now this is isolated gaseous atom. This is electron gain enthalpy. This whole process is not electron gain enthalpy, but the oxidizing behavior depends upon all three of them. Third thing, X minus 2, X minus aqueous, hydration enthalpy, fluorine wins. Bond enthalpy, whose bond enthalpy is lesser? We know chlorine is more than fluorine. That means it is easy for fluorine to break the bond and go forward in this reaction. So because the bond enthalpy of fluorine is less, it's easy for fluorine to react. So here fluorine wins in 2 games, chlorine wins in only 1. So why the oxidizing agent nature of fluorine is more than chlorine? There are 3 factors deciding it. Out of those 3 factors, in 2 factors fluorine wins. That's why fluorine is the better oxidizing agent. Better or awesome? Bhaiya, super awesome oxidizing agent. How much awesome you can understand? There is no other oxidizing agent we know in our course which can oxidize water. In our course, we don't know as per NCERT. Still there are some, but we will not talk about them. So fluorine oxidizes water, release oxygen gas. So fluorine is one of that person who can oxidize water also. So he is the best oxidizing agent, releasing O2 gas. Also, you have to understand, iodine is out of them, all of them are oxidizing agent, but out of them, iodine is the least powerful oxidizing agent. In fact, rather than acting like fluorine, he acts just opposite. So you can understand, fluorine with water gives HF and O2, and the reaction of iodine is just opposite. So 4Hi plus O2 gives you 2I2 plus 2 water. What about the reaction of chlorine and bromine with water? This is the reaction. I'll explain this when the NaOH reactions will come. So right now these two are important for you, that fluorine is so much better oxidizing agent that he releases oxygen from water, he oxidizes water also. Iodine on the other hand cannot do this. Rather than that, oxygen can oxidize I minus to iodine. Going ahead, because fluorine is the best oxidizing agent, what will happen? He can displace any X minus. So think in this way, that the eldest of all in the family is fluorine, and this negative is like a chair. So imagine there is a chair in the room, only one chair is there, and suddenly you are sitting over there on the chair watching the television. Okay, bhai, you are relaxed here. In the lockdown, obviously you are very relaxed. So what happens here? Suddenly in that room your father comes, for example. So what will happen here? Out of courtesy, because you are very good human beings and very good child there, very good kid there. So what will happen? You will stand up from your chair and you will offer the chair to your father. So always in the same way, negative charge is also given to the better oxidizing agent, and because fluorine is better oxidizing agent, he will take the chair, become F minus, and X2 will go out. Similarly, chlorine is better than Br minus I minus. Chlorine is better than Br2 and I2. So chlorine will take the chair from them and Br2, I2 will go out. Bromine is better only from iodine, or better than only iodine. So bromine will take the chair from only I minus, becoming Br minus, and I2 goes out. And iodine, this poor fellow, he is the youngest one in the family, and in the previous video I told you that eldest one suffer, but a youngest also suffer. When it comes for this kind of a luxury, the youngest one do not get this luxury. They have to sit on the ground and always watch the television. But no problem here, I can feel for you. But it's okay. Iodine, still he is a good oxidizing agent. He is oxidizing agent, not good. He is okay oxidizing agent. But you don't have to think in this way that iodine is not the oxidizing agent. He is. All of them are oxidizing agent. But he is the worst out of fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So he cannot displace anyone. So if a question comes, F2 plus KBr, what will happen? Kuch nahi yaar. It will become KF plus Br2. Understood bhaiya? F2 plus Br minus, that is KBr means Br minus. What will happen? It will become F minus and Br2. So instead of Br minus and F minus, I have put KBr and KF. Going ahead, HF, HCl, HBr, HI. Melting point, boiling point already I have discussed in the nitrogen family. With a story I have discussed that. Now let us talk about it. HF has extensively high hydrogen bonding. You might have seen the HF having the hydrogen bond as well. The hydrogen bonding of HF looks like this. H, F, then H, F, then H, F in this way, and around 120-degree angle is there. So we can understand the hydrogen is trapped here in this kind of a network. The hydrogen get trapped and the H plus is not released happily. So it's a weak acid and remaining all of them are strong acid. Strong acid means 100% dissociated in water. HCl, HBr, HI are gases. HF is a liquid. Why? Again because of the same reason, because it is having extensively high hydrogen bonding. As you go from top to bottom, size increases, so bond length increase. This hydride we are discussing for the third time. Nitrogen, oxygen already we have discussed. Same logic we have to apply here. Bond length increases. Bond length increases, bond enthalpy decreases. Bond enthalpy becomes less. So if the bond enthalpy is less, that means it's easy to break the bond. As we go here, it becomes easy to break the bond. That means it becomes easy to release the H plus, so the acidic character increases. So HI is more acidic than HBr, more acidic than HCl, is more acidic than HF. Also, if hydrogen is breaking, you can donate H minus also. And when you donate H minus, it is known as reducing agent nature. So as the bond is breaking easily top to bottom, so HI will be the best reducing agent out of this. You use also in organic chemistry, red phosphorus plus HI. Very commonly you use there. Sometimes directly HI also you use, like in biomolecules chapter you can see. There also you use HI as a reducing agent. Going ahead, what about the stability? You very well know, yaar. If it is becoming easier and easier to break the bond, the stability decreases. Talking about its reaction with oxygen. So with fluorine, understand this, oxygen is the second most electronegative atom. Second most electronegative atom. Then sir, who is the first one? Fluorine. Fluorine is the first electronegative atom. Oxygen is the rank 2. So oxygen can never show a positive oxidation state except with fluorine. That means with fluorine he will show positive oxidation state, and with any other element in the world he will show negative oxidation state. So only two compounds are there of oxygen that you must know, OF2 and O2F2, where oxygen is showing a +1 and +2 oxidation state, out of which OF2 is stable at 298 Kelvin, that is room temperature. O2F2 is highly unstable. So whosoever is the more electronegative atom gets a negative partial charge, and whosoever is more electronegative, with his name we use ide. So for example, if I say SO2, it's oxide of sulfur. But here we understand fluorine is more electronegative, so he will get a delta minus. So we have to use the word letter ide or word ide with fluorine. So these are fluorides of oxygen. So they are not oxides, they are fluorides of oxygen strictly speaking. Going ahead here, they are very good fluorinating agent, brilliant fluorinating agent. Like plutonium is there. Plutonium is converted to PuF6 using O2F2. Sir, what's the use of this? देखो यार, plutonium is a byproduct in the nuclear reactors. So if you want to clean that byproduct, send O2F2. O2F2 will react with plutonium, will convert it to PuF6, which is volatile. It is partially gaseous in nature, we can say. So PuF6 is a gaseous compound. It will go up, can be easily removed. Oxygen gas is the byproduct, which will also be removed, and the plutonium is easily removed by this reaction. So it is used for cleaning the spent nuclear reactor. Spent means when the nuclear reactor is used, some byproducts are left as the impurities. Those are removed using O2F2 by converting plutonium, that is the impurity, into PuF6. Going ahead, stability are, iodine oxides are more stable than chlorine oxides, are more stable than bromine oxides. So you have to remember it directly. Reasons are also there, but there is no point of going into the reason of it. Like iodine and oxygen have more polar bond, chlorine and oxygen can form better pi bonds, and bromine shows no such property. That's why the bromine oxide is least stable. This is there in the latest NCERT. You want to hear what I have said right now, you can rewind and hear again, or you can refer to the NCERT. But this stability order in itself is sufficient for you in the revision part. Going ahead, in chlorine oxides, only ClO2 you have to remember. It is a bleaching agent for paper and pulp industry, for textile industry, and also for water treatment. For water treatment also, you might have heard a lot of times that chlorine smell is coming in the swimming pool. People say, na, chlorine smell is coming. Why? Because we use some bleaching agent there to treat the water so that it is not having much of the microorganisms left there. Any oxidizing agent, any oxidizing agent is a permanent bleaching agent, including ozone. Ozone is also a permanent bleaching agent. It is an oxidizing agent. So all the oxidizing agents are permanent bleaching agent. All the reducing agents are also bleaching agent, but they are temporary. They will bleach, but for some time only. They are temporary bleaching agent. Like SO2 is a reducing agent, but it's a temporary bleaching agent. Ozone is an oxidizing agent, so it is a permanent bleaching agent. So oxidizing agent, permanent bleaching agent. Bleaching means discoloring. Discoloring. ClO2 is oxidizing agent, so it's also a permanent bleaching agent. Going ahead, for iodine oxide, I2O5 is used for estimation of CO. You might have seen this reaction in the organic chemistry, junior interpart, purification of the organic compounds. Now I2O5, I2O7, I2O4, all the iodine oxides, they are insoluble solid and they decompose on heating. Also, all the bromine oxides are least stable, so they are very good oxidizing agent. Because if I am unstable, I will desperately react. So they react by releasing oxygen gas. So bhaiya, they are very good oxidizing agent. Next, when we talk about their halides, so in halides you have to just focus upon the Fajans rule, and Fajans rule simply says that as per the Fajans rule, what I can say in the simple words, if the charge or the oxidation state is more, covalent character is more. That is the simplest rule I can use. So SnCl for SnCl2, here plus 4, here plus 2. So here plus 4 compound will be more covalent character. SbCl5, SbCl3, plus 5 plus 3, plus 5 compound will be more covalent. Let's carry on. So now regarding chlorine we can discuss here. How to make chlorine? Chlorine is made by oxidation of Cl- to Cl2. Cl- is taken in the form of HCl majorly. If HCl is not available directly, we can take NaCl H2SO4 mixture. So what will happen? NaCl react with H2SO4 to give HCl. That's the preparation method of HCl we can see here also. NaCl plus H2SO4, H plus will be given and HCl gas comes out at 420 Kelvin. You react at 823 Kelvin, the leftover H plus will also be given and you will get one more HCl. So if you want to get HCl in situ, in the test tube only, take NaCl H2SO4 there. Oxidizing agents, I can take MnO2 with heat, KMnO4 at room temperature. You can understand KMnO4 is better oxidizing agent. So he will in fact oxidize Cl- to Cl2 at room temperature also. That's why we don't use acid for acidification of KMnO4, we use dilute H2SO4. We never use HCl. Why? Because KMnO4 oxidizes Cl- or HCl into chlorine gas. Going ahead, we can take oxygen with a catalyst of CuCl2 and this method is called Dacon process. Electrolysis also we can do. At anode oxidation happens, Cl- becomes Cl2. So electrolysis of brine solution you can do, maybe aqueous NaCl, highly concentrated NaCl you can take there. So what will happen? Cl- becomes Cl2 happily. Now chlorine loves hydrogen. So what he does, whenever he sees hydrogen in any other compound, he tries to take it. Like he saw hydrogen in H2S, chlorine took it away. He saw hydrogen in hydrocarbon, then also chlorine took it away. So you can understand, carbon. You can understand sulfur comes out, carbon comes out as it is, chlorine takes all the hydrogen away. Also, two more reactions I am writing here just for reference. See, other reactions are also there, like aluminium plus chlorine AlCl3, sodium plus chlorine NaC. All those are very simple reaction. You can simply write it by yourself also. These two reactions I am writing because I have to tell you what is there in the NCERT. Sulfur with chlorine can form HCl4 also, but in NCERT with 4Cl2, H2Cl2 is there. So always check the stoichiometry. If stoichiometry is not written, then go with H2Cl2. Similarly, P4 with chlorine can form PCl3, PCl5 both. We have read in the phosphorus family. So this is also okay. This is as per the stoichiometry, we are getting PCl3. PCl5 is also possible. Check for the preparation method. In the previous video also I told that phosphorus plus chlorine can form PCl5 also. Now Na2SO4.10H2 is called Glauber's salt. It was named behind the scientist Glauber itself. You can see the name, you will see the name there in the NCERT, Glauber, the name of the scientist. And that's why I am using the Glauber salt name also, because it is not directly in the NCERT but may be useful. Going ahead, how does chlorine and bromine react with NaOH concentrated and dilute? So देखो यार, the simple trick is to remember plus 1 plus 5. Plus 1 plus 5 you have to remember. What does it mean? In plus 1, that's the trick to remember. Okay? So in plus 1, chlorine, bromine, they form NaOX. In NaOX, X is in plus 1. Here, NaXO3, it is plus 5. So this is the meaning of plus 1 plus 5. So in concentrated NaOH, NaXO3 is made. In dilute NaOH, NaOX is made. Going ahead, Remaining things are same. NaX is made, water is also there as usual, that's not a big deal. So that's how you can remember it. So for example, if you have chlorine with dilute NaOH, you will get NaOCl plus NaCl plus water. Similarly, here you will get NaClO3, NaCl plus water. In fact, if I take concentrated, hot and concentrated NaOH, this is formed, and then if I dilute it, if I add water to it, I will get directly NaOCl and NaX again. That means, if for example bromine reacts with concentrated NaOH, firstly you will get +5 and -1 of bromine. ठीक है भाई? Then you add water, then the +5 will become +1 and -1 again. That simply means you will get +5, -1, +1, all these three oxidation states in the mixture of the solution. So concentrated this reaction, dilute this reaction. In fact, if you dilute this product mixture also, then also you will get this mixture as the answer. Going ahead, that's the formula of bleaching powder. I'm not telling it again in the revision part, already I have discussed in the S block. Now, chlorine with water, how the reaction occurs? There I told you that chlorine bromine you don't have to remember there, you have to remember here. How? Take water as HOH. So just like NaOH, HOH is there. So just like NaOX, you will get HOX, so HOCl. Just like NaX, you get HCl. So what happens? Chlorine water is yellowish in color, but slowly water start reacting and the yellow color disappears. Furthermore, the HOCl formed release the nascent oxygen also. So he act like a bleaching agent as well as oxidizing agent. Reactions we can see of chlorine water as an oxidizing agent, oxidizes Fe2 plus to 3 plus, SO3 2 minus to SO4 2 minus, SO2 to SO4 2 minus, both are same. SO3 2 minus, SO2 are same only. Why? Because when SO2 goes in water, he forms H2SO3. So for example, if it is basic medium, so SO2 will react with, let's say, NaOH to form Na2SO3. So it's not a big deal to understand that SO2 and Na2SO3 are same only. Only difference is there, SO2 is without aqueous solution, SO3 is there in the aqueous solution. In fact, we made SO2 from SO3 2 minus also in the oxygen family by simply adding H plus. Going ahead, they both are oxidized to sulfate. Iodine becomes HiO3 on oxidation. We have already seen this also. With HNO3 also same reaction happens. Here one thing I want to tell you, apart from this part, one more thing is there that you might be feeling a little bit confused in case you have read the previous chapters properly. So here देखो, SO2 with chlorine and charcoal, I told SO2Cl2. With chlorine and charcoal, SO2Cl2 in the oxygen family. And here I am telling SO2 with chlorine and water is giving us SO4 2 minus or H2SO4 I can say. So you have to understand here they both are same. What does it mean, sir? देखो, if gaseous chlorine taken, SO2Cl2 is there. In SO2Cl2, sulfur is in +6. And when +6 of sulfur get hydrolyzed, he forms the oxy acid in +6, that is sulfuric acid. That means, if in this reaction, I add water, instead of getting SO2Cl2, I will get H2SO4. So basically, this reaction, SO2 chlorine water, and this reaction, SO2 chlorine and no water, they are same only. This is in the absence of water, this is in the presence of water. If you add water here, even SO2Cl2 will get hydrolyzed to form H2SO4. Sir, how do we remember that H2SO4 only is formed? The other acids can also be formed now. Firstly, keep in mind only acids will be formed because it is non-metal. Then which acid match the oxidation state? That acid will be formed. Going ahead here. Now, 3:1 mixture of HCl, concentrated and concentrated HNO3 is called aqua regia. Aqua regia is a solution that dissolves gold. It dissolves the gold. So gold and platinum get dissolved in aqua regia to form AuCl4 minus. Check here the oxidation state also. It will come out to be +3. And check the coordination number also, 4 is coming. Here platinum, in coordination compounds also I discussed that platinum 6 means +4 oxidation state only. So here +4 will come directly, not a problem. So coordination numbers are important here, oxidation states are important. So here if you have a gold jewelry, should you dissolve it in aqua regia kya? Like should you wash it with aqua regia or not? Because imagine if this is my gold marker, it is not, I wish. But if it is a gold marker, imaginary, if I dip this in aqua regia, it will dissolve there and I will lose my gold. So should you wash any gold or platinum jewelries with aqua regia? The answer is no. So no is the byproduct, NO. Going ahead, Na2CO3, NaSCO3, Na2SO3 with HCl. Logic is same here. Logic is that strong acid to weak acid conversions are spontaneous for acid-base reaction. So HCl is a strong acid, he will give H plus to carbonate, making carbonic acid, and H2CO3 unstable. Many a times I have said, mix H2O plus CO2. NaSCO3 gets the H plus, becomes H2O plus CO2. Na2SO3, same to same. In the oxygen family also I told that CO2 and SO2, they behave in the same way. Here also H2SO3 and H2SO3 will give H2O plus SO2. ठीक है भाई साहब? So H2SO3 takes the Na2SO3 takes the H plus, makes H2SO3. H2SO3 is unstable, forming H2O plus SO2. Now very important logical question. Fluorine with iron with Cl2 forms FeCl3, but iron with HCl forms FeCl2. Why? देखो यार, more stable oxidation state for iron is +3. +3 should be made. So FeCl3 is okay, that's normal. Question arises, why Fe with HCl does not form FeCl3? Reason is this little fellow here. Hydrogen is the byproduct, and hydrogen act as reducing agent, and he does not allow the Fe plus 2 to get oxidized to +3. In other words, if hydrogen is made and Fe3 plus is made by mistake, then hydrogen reduce Fe3 plus back to Fe2 plus. So Fe shows only up to +2 state with HCl, that is FeCl2, but without any hydrogen, it goes up to FeCl3. Now let us go on to the oxy acid parts and the interhalogens.